Hi, let's talk about what to do if you have a personal expense that was accidentally charged on a business card. This happens from time to time. You might be out, only have your business card, and you purchase something that's personal, and then you see it show up in QuickBooks and you want to know how to account for it. So the first question is, what is your business structure type? So if you're an LLC, a sole proprietor, an S Corp, or a partnership, you're considered a pass-through entity. So if you see a personal expense come in here, you can book it to that same account that you use to pay yourself as one of those business structures. So we call that account different things depending on your business type, but owner's distribution or owner's draw, or sometimes we just call it owner's pay and personal expenses. It's all the same thing, but it's basically an equity account where you record a draw on the business. So same thing, if we have a personal expense, we can use that account. And let's do an example. So let's see this, say this $800 here was a personal expense. So we can click into the line, we can click on categorize, and then we're just going to book it to that owner's pay and personal expenses account. So I can set that up really quickly just for example's sake. It's an equity account and we're using owner's equity and we're calling it owner's pay and personal expenses. So this account houses any draws or distributions to pay yourself, but also any personal expenses. So that's it. I'll just save, and then I would just add this expense and it will go to that account. So that's one way to take care of this issue. Another way would be just to reimburse the business for this expense, and then you would see that the two amounts would net out. So you could just put them in something like other business expenses and they would net to zero. So you're basically just remedying the fact that there was this expense made in error. So that's another way to handle it. And then if you're the owner of a C Corp, it's a little bit different in the way that you account for it. So as a C Corp, you just need to create an account for this type of thing. Let's go over to accounting and chart of accounts. So we would want to create what's called a due to or from shareholder. So as the owner of a C Corp, you're separate from the corporation. So if there's anything that happens like this, you'll have to reimburse the corporation for that expenditure. And so we use an account called due to / from shareholder. So we can create that pretty quickly. And I usually set it up as an asset account. And we'll just choose other current assets here. And we'll call it due to / from shareholder. So then if you have a personal expense that made its way onto one of your business cards, you would record it to that due to from shareholder account. And then you need to, at some point, reimburse the company for that, and you would book that reimbursement against the same account. So essentially it's like a holding account, and then you should see it eventually clear out to zero. So that's the way we handle it for corporations because you're separate from the entity. But definitely okay if you have a few personal expenses here and there, there is a way to account for it. So make sure you follow these steps.